pure anger.
This is the toughest event in lumberjack sport.
This is absolutely a man on a mission blowing half the log off.
A single elimination tournament featuring the top lumberjacks in North America.
One more hit, he's done it. Lentz done it. He's done it. He's done it again.
Last year, Jason Lentz would best the field and win his second U.S. trophy title.
And he is destroying the standing block.
These tough blue-collar athletes are ready to take the stage and take their shot at this Goliath. Welcome to the 2024 STIHL Timbersports North American Trophy Championships from Virginia Beach, Virginia, the home of STIHL Incorporated and the USA Manufacturing Plant. To see how this head-to-head single elimination competition breaks down, here is the discipline review.
The STIHL Timbersports Trophy Competition. In the trophy format, athletes have to complete 4 disciplines back-to-back. After the start, they need to cut a complete disc with the stock saw within a 10-centimeter area. From there, the athletes have to complete the underhand chop as quickly as possible. Only after they split the block can they return to the starting point, where this time, the single buck is waiting for them to cut one complete cookie. In the final discipline, the athletes have to complete the standing block chop in order to achieve the best possible overall time. Any rule infraction will result in a disqualification and the athlete will be eliminated. All participants must first demonstrate their skills in the time trial. The better the athletes perform in the time trial, the easier their first elimination round will be. The athletes now continue to compete in a knockout system through the quarterfinals and semifinals. The losers of the semifinals will fight for the last podium spot in a small final. After that, the 2 winners of the semifinals will compete one more time to see who takes the title.
Well, we have made it to the quarterfinal round of the competition. Let's take a look at some of the top heats of the round of 16. Jason Lentz, last year's champion, would take on Cogar Jr., lay down a time of 1:02.23 to advance to the quarterfinals. Last year's bronze medalist, Hodges, would put up a time of 1:04.13 seconds to move into the quarterfinals.
There's Hodges moving on to the quarterfinal round.
Our 7-time U.S. champion and former trophy world record holder Matt Cogar would set the fastest time in the round of 16 at 58.18 to advance.
1-1, and he's already looking to drive. Wow, what a finish. Under a minute for Matt Cogar.
Quarterfinal round, let's bring them out, Matt Cogar and Ben Nicely.
Getting ready to go with heat number 1 of the quarterfinals, Matt Cogar. Time-wise, our fastest through the round of 16. Matt comes from a strong family history of working in the woods, competing in lumberjack sports, and with all his many championships, he is a busy man, what with the competing and also making personal appearances, doing demonstrations, and traveling internationally.
So I grew up in Diana, West Virginia. You know, I grew up in the family of lumberjack. I just started going to competitions with my dad, and eventually they had a competition at the Webster County Wood Chopping Festival for under 18 competitors, and that's where we made our first cut.
Stands to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Matt Cogar very quick on the go, up into the block. I don't think he had his hand exactly where he wanted it. I'll have to go look in the replay to see what all went on there, but it seemed like a little bit of a bobble there on the stock saw. Here he is. Look at the beautiful underhand. Oh, there's a hang-up from Nicely. Oh, and another hang-up from Nicely. Again, that just puts the brakes on the momentum. Your axe recovery out of that block is so critical to keeping that flow. There you see a firm axe set from Matt Cogar. He just saw what happened to Walt Page in that last heat. He doesn't want to DQ. Not really putting on a blistering pace here in this single buck. Matt Cogar's putting up a good cut. I think there's more in the tank though. Ben Nicely still right there with him. Here we go down to the standing block. And if I'm Ben Nicely, I do not want to try to pass Matt Cogar in a standing block. Last up driver there from Cogar's. He comes around 1-1 for opening blows, chasing those corners. Near wood is done. Oh my gosh!
Wow!
What a beautiful finish. Just these guys that drive off that much timber. Yeah, it's nice soft white pine. It's beautiful wood to cut, but the hit placement and the confidence and the tool, it all has to line up. Just driving through a disgusting amount of timber out there.
Matt Cogar gliding his way right into the semis with that cut right there. 1:01.39 seconds.
And we are just a few seconds away for our second out of 4 heats here in this quarterfinal round. This will again be a U.S.-Canada matchup. And here they come. Let's give it up for Ben Cumberland and Matthew Slingerland.
Stand number 1 right there, Canada's Ben Cumberland. Very impressive the first go-round, 1 minute, 8 seconds, .75. Defeat his fellow countryman Jeff Larkin in the round of 16. Ben from New Brunswick, Elmwood, in New Brunswick, Canada. He is the defending individual champion for the nation as well. Matt Slingerland, 3-time silver medalist in Team World Competition. And so close so many other times. It's so many big championships here in the United States.
It's going to be interesting because both of these guys are exceptional power sawyers and also single buckers, single sawyers. I feel like it's going to be an interesting transition between events. We're going to see how these guys stack up head to head.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Very clean up to the block. Both these guys just so smooth to the timber with the saw. It is Matt Slingerland through first and very smooth in his transition, getting that saw down, getting his protective equipment off, and getting into this underhand chop. Cumberland getting in the guts, looks at his axe. He's a little concerned about what that block may have just done to his axe. There's a big slab of wood coming off of Cumberland's on the backside of that log. He's got to play catch up though, which is going to be, oh, there it is, trouble for Slingerland on the top of that block. Again, these guys, I don't like the foot movement from Matty Slingerland over there on the stand. You can see he's kind of repositioned that foot, drives through at the end, though he gets the job done. But with all of those chips on the stage from the stock saw, that's where we need to have spikes on our feet, I think, to get them locked in. Look at Cumberland as he wades into this stand and block chop. He's going to do his best to try to reel him in, but Matty Slingerland is running away. If Matt puts in a clean back on this block, he's looking to drive. There it is.
He's got it.
Looks like a new personal best for Matty Slingerland.
So Matt Slingerland's going to advance to the semifinals. It's a good move for him. It's going to make the competition very, very juicy in the semis. Looking very much forward to it, and we are 2 down in our 4 quarterfinal heats. Cogar and Slingerland passing through. The STIHL Timbersports North American Trophy is brought to you by STIHL. We were made for this. And by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia for the 2024 STIHL Timbersports North American Trophy Championship. We are halfway through the quarterfinal round, and Dave Jewett, who is up next?
Let's bring them out, Nate Hodges and Trevor Beaudry.
Stand number 1, Nate Hodges, great performer from California, relatively new, top-level STIHL Timbersports competition, but has been around the sport all of his life. Made up his mind to be good at it. Good decision.
Name's Nate Hodges, North Fork, California. I've been in and around competitive lumberjack sports basically since I was 18. Never had big plans of trying to go to the professional level. Something that always sounded cool but didn't sound possible. Started doing more and more competitions around California, realized that, hey, maybe I should try professional timber sports, and thought it sounded a little bit of a crazy idea, but I said, why not? And I really started pursuing the sport like with full force.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Smooth runs for both these guys. Remember in the previous round, Nate Hodges had some difficulty, grabbed that chain break just a little bit. Look at the hustle for these guys getting over to that underhand chop, turning into a foot race as we advance through the rounds here. Club hand and cutting again from Hodges there on the left side, stand number 1. Beaudry with that more traditional slide-handed cutting on stand number 2 on your right. Looks like a very clean run. Beaudry just a fraction ahead, but just a little more hustle from Hodges to get over to that single buck. Hodges with barely any time on this freshly filed single buck saw. Just got it back in his hands, but doing a great job with it. Seems like a natural fit. It is slight advantage Hodges as he goes into the standing block chop. We'll see if those arms can hold out for him. Beaudry's got to reel him in. He's running out of time here. Beaudry putting in a little more homework on the front side of that log than Hodges did. It may pay. No, it isn't. It's all Hodges. Wow, Beaudry just swiped at the near side of that block on his second side of that standing block. Had to go back for one more hit. Great close finish from these guys. Here's the run once again between Beaudry on your right, Nate Hodges on the left. It's just a tiny advantage to Hodges, but look at the foot race. I think that was probably the lowest or smallest elapsed time from the end of the stock saw to the start of the underhand. I think those guys put on a great 40-yard dash for us here on the stage in Virginia Beach.
Nate Hodges' official time 1:01.58, and Nate Hodges now advances to the semis along with Matt Cogar and Matt Slingerland.
Here we go out of Diana, West Virginia, our national champion, two-time Jason Lentz. And coming all the way from Squamish, British Columbia, the Canadian champion, Sterling Hart.
Jason Lentz on stand number 1 there. Personal best in trophy format. You see it right there, 58.49. Going for 3 in a row. Jason, another competitor who has a strong family history in lumberjack sports. Both his grandfather and his father held many, many championships, both here and abroad. That is a big legacy to live up to. And in recent years, Jason has been doing just that.
So I'm a 4th generation lumberjack athlete. I didn't really choose it, kind of picked me. Yeah, I grew up in the mountains of West Virginia in a forest town. My dad was a logger by trade, timber cutter, and that was pretty much my entire family's, my lineage's way of life. Only seemed right for me to follow in my family's footsteps. Ended up here in STIHL Timbersports and trying to make a name for myself and the sport my family has since the 30s.
Taking home 2 national titles in 3 years, Jason Lentz.
In our final heat of the quarterfinals, Jason Lentz will be going up against Canadian champion Sterling Hart. Hart made it to the quarterfinals by taking on Walt Page in the round of 16. Walt Page would fall behind Hart earlier in the heat. Page would rally late in the heat and finish ahead of Hart, but due to a penalty, it would be Page not advancing.
We have a disqualification on this stand. The rule is that the axe has to be placed securely in the block for safety reasons, and the axe fell out of the block while Walt was chopping, so the winner is Sterling Hart.
Sterling Hart, he didn't want to win that way, but Sterling's got to take it, and he's going to move on to the quarters and try to make it to the semis.
He acknowledged that very graciously in that interview with Dave Jewett. He said, Walt Page beat me fair and square, but with that DQ for Walt Page, it lets Sterling Hart advance. A tough lesson for Sterling Hart. He is an exceptional standing block cutter, and that standing block did not go according to the script. Well, Tommy, earlier I actually referenced standing Sterling Hart next to Jason Lentz and the difference in stature. Well, we get to do this now, and right now it's advantage Sterling Hart. He is sprinting over to that underhand block, had a bit of a hang-up, got the heel in a little bit heavy on that opening drive, but it was advantage Hart going into the underhand. Lentz around first, though, into the backside of the block. A bit of a rough cut there in the front side of Lentz's block. Doesn't matter, got the job done. Hart has to step back up. That is going to be an immense loss of time. Jason Lentz is going to run through this single buck event. That was a tough, tough break. It was advantage Hart going into the underhand, advantage Lentz coming out of it. And this is where things are just going to get violent. Jason Lentz is going to destroy this standing block chop like he's destroyed all the other standing block chops today. He is well past the front, or excuse me, the midpoint of that block. There it is again. He's got to put like some kind of like proprietary stamp on the finish of those standing blocks. So as we go back to this replay, standing block has become Jason Lentz's exclamation point on this discipline. This is just an absolute clinic from Jason Lentz. Watch as he wades in the front of this block. Opening hit actually wasn't that tremendous, but he's putting these hits exactly in the right places. And watch as he comes in with this next up hit, wham! Clears a huge chip out of there, perfectly to the center of that log. Goes one up, now 1, 2. Now that near is done, goes to the far, just drives off, leaves that huge pig's ear, that wall of wood sticking up in the air. Didn't have to clear those chips, just drives through it.
Jason Lentz rounds out our semifinal 4 right there. A time officially of 1 minute and 1/100 second. That is the fastest time out of the quarterfinals right there. So now the field is set for the semis. Matt Cogar, Matt Slingerland, Nate Hodges, and Jason Lentz. 4 left from the original 16. We are ready to get that underway momentarily. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back here in Virginia Beach.
Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia, home to the 2024 STIHL TIMBERSPORTS North American Trophy Championships. We started with the top 16 lumberjacks from North America. We have had the round of 16, the quarterfinals, and now down to the top 4 in the semifinals. In Heat 1 of the semifinals, 7-time U.S. national champion Matt Cogar would take on longtime rival Matthew Slingerland. The heat began with Slingerland taking a slight lead early, but Cogar would start to pull away in the underhand and single buck, then finish off strong in the standing block, putting him in the finals. Heat 2 would be 2-time U.S. Trophy champion Jason Lentz going up against Nate Hodges. It was a tight race coming out of the first discipline, the stock saw. Hodges would have a slight lead over Lentz through the underhand and the single buck, but it would be Lentz rallying late in the standing block for the win and the trip to the finals.
Here we go, let's do it. The small final, this is the fight for the bronze medal right here. Let's give it up, Matt Slingerland and Nate Hodges.
Going to be Matt Slingerland on stand number 1. Matt Slingerland really looking good through the first 2 rounds, also in the qualifying as well, but just could not get past Matt Cogar in that semifinal round. So he's going to go up against Nate Hodges. Nate Hodges just got finished laying down his personal best, 58-31. And oh man, is that going to give any kind of advantage to Matt Slingerland? I mean, he has exerted so much. Slingerland's time to gain this spot right here, 1:06:56. So a big discrepancy in time, but that doesn't necessarily mean it isn't going to be a good race.
And in my mind, this first discipline, it should be advantage Slingerland, but stock saw there's not much to lose or gain. Well, there you go. They're neck and neck. Hodges, though, again, I mentioned this in the last round, he is putting down the fastest lap times across the stage. Forget about the disciplines, but just getting from one discipline to the next. Hodges is the clear winner there. Slingerland, though, struggled the underhand in that last round. He's got to take what he learned there, apply it. Some hang-ups, though. Hodges, though, has been putting in clean faces. Underhand, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Slingerland's not putting the work in the front of this block. I know his dad Mike is out here in the crowd and he'll be letting Maddie know whatever went wrong. Hodges is running very strong with that freshly filed single buck saw. A hang up at the bottom though. I feel like he's starting to lose some gas. These guys are going to start almost identical. We've got an absolute horse race on in the standing block chop. I feel like this is where we're seeing the arm chopping of Hodges kind of come. Oh, this is going to be an awesome race. This is where I feel like the arm chopping of Hodges is going to come back to bite him. It's not. It's Hodges is going to stick with it. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Matty Slater was right there. He was reeling him in. Hodges was absolutely losing it. Gassed as he was working into these last 2 disciplines. We've talked about how he's a very high-speed chopper using a club-handed technique. He relies on those big arms, but this is where it starts to hurt him. You can't rely on those muscles, and I feel like he is just getting gassed at this point.
One more left to be decided, and that is the big one. The championship of the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS North American Trophy is coming up. The final heat, Lentz and Cogar, next. The STIHL TIMBERSPORTS North American Trophy is brought to you by STIHL. We were made for this. And by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia for the 2024 STIHL TIMBERSPORTS North American Trophy Championship. We are down to the finals. This crowd is ready to crown a champion, and it will be Matt Cogar, former U.S. and World Trophy champion, taking on 2-time U.S. Trophy champion Jason Lentz. This ought to be a good one, Kevin.
And just like our small final, this one, this could go either way. I'm going through.
Absolutely.
You know, I know I'm supposed to provide some kind of brilliant insight as to which discipline who's going to pull ahead with and whatever.
No.
These guys are just going to be neck and neck, and here we go. super quick to the timber, very clean cuts. They're going to come right out of the bottom of this together. The transition over to the underhand, just a half a swing advantage for Lentz. We'll see if he can hold that advantage. That may be the, oh, there's a hang-up though. There's two hang-ups from Jason Lentz. Now advantage Cogar. Into the back of this block. I think Cogar's got it.
Yeah,
really
got
clean. He looks really good.
Oh my
Lentz
goodness.
has got trouble.
Look out.
Lentz has got to stay in this though, because there you go. There's a hang up for Cogar in the single buck. So I feel like Lentz almost looked a little defeated stepping off that underhand, but now he's switching it into gear. He is gaining some time on Cogar. Matt Cogar, though, he is just going to run away with this stand and block chop. Both of them around to the back, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Jason Lentz a really short front, though. I don't know if he can overcome this. He's been driving timber all day. This might be too much.
It's gonna be Cogar.
It is. The emotion from Matt Cogar as he steps away from that stand and block, goes over to congratulate Jason Lentz.
Just a great performance from Matt Cogar. That will be our John Deere driver's seat move of the competition.
What a run. What a relief for Matt Cogar. He has been just absolutely doggedly going after this event, and he finally got it. What a run from Jason Lentz, though. Unbelievable race from top-notch axemen.
Well, there you go. Dave, you and I, if we had a glass, we would raise a glass to our medalists there. Of course, Nate Hodges, Jason Lentz, and Matt Cogar. Matt Cogar, who had his first trophy experience a decade ago in Budapest. He's had a world championship. He's had a national trophy championship. Now he's got his second trophy champion. I think he treasures this one a lot, don't you?
Yeah, this is going to a special place on the mantle for Matt Cogar.
Once again, congratulations to Matt Cogar and all of our athletes for putting on a great show here in Virginia. We'll see you next time in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the Women's National Championship.